Bob Nation. Let's go. Live from the Toyota Lounge. Toyota, the official vehicle of DNVR. It's DNVR Buffs Primetime. I'm solo in the studio, but my wonderful friend and colleague, Uncle Neely, calling in from Jackson, I believe, right?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Let's go. Welcome back, man. It's been a minute. How you been?
I've been doing good, brother. How about yourself?
Can't complain. Just trying to deal with the craziness and everything that goes on trying to cover this team. You know how it is.
The craziness that is college football, which is amplified exponentially when it's Coach Prime Colorado Buffaloes football. Crazy world.
It's insane. Yeah, we'll get into what happened last night, all the drama, and then we'll talk about a little bit about what Quinn Ewers said about Travis Hunter. Some running back room drama. I mean, we got a guy who committed who's going on a visit. We'll get to that. We got a commitment today. How's the running back room going to look? But we start with the big news, and of all the days that this chair is empty, it's the day that we find out that Shedeur Sanders is in EA Sports College Football. He tweeted it out or put it on Instagram today. You could hear the relief across the state of Colorado and across the country that Shedeur is going to be in this game. Ralphie is also in this game, Unc. She's in.
You know, man, both of those things I really think we knew. I really think we knew, Jay.
Yeah.
RK was on the edge of his seat, panic mode. Every day asking, Shedeur in and Shedeur in. I always thought it was just a foregone conclusion. You can't have the Buffaloes in and not have Ralphie in. I mean, what kind of sense would that make? So, man, it is official. The biggest launch. This is historic, Jake. I mean, everybody's been waiting on this game for years and years and years. Now the NIL has finally happened. Waded through those waters. College football is back, man. EA Sports, Colorado Buffaloes on there. Ralphie, Shedeur, Travis. Can't wait to play it.
Cannot wait, man. Cannot wait. So stoked. July 19th is the day. We talked about it all this week because the leaks were coming out about the cover and the different versions of the cover. What was your reaction, though? Travis is on the cover front and center.
Again, not from a I told you so standpoint, but, we had a show a couple of months ago, I think, that we were kind of doing the over-under who's going to be on the cover. And we were discussing then, you, me, and RK, that there's no way that you can have Travis or Shedeur on the cover. You talk about the 2024 season, the most talked about players, the most anticipated players are on the Colorado Buffaloes roster. That's Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. One of them had to be on there. And, man, it's Travis Hunter front and center. The photo shoot behind the scenes video has been coming out. Looked like a great day out there. I could not be prouder and happier for Travis because not only is he well-deserved from his athletic ability, Travis is a gamer. So it's a win-win for him. It's not like, you pick my mom or something to be on the cover and she's never going to play it. Travis is a gamer.
Definitely, man. I'm super stoked for him. It seemed like he had a ton of fun at the photo shoot. Lots of content that came out from there. It seemed like the guys really liked him too. Quinn Ewers was there also on the cover, of course. Donovan Edwards was there. And it seemed like they all really gelled together, and it was just cool to watch them all hang out. We got a full reveal today of what's going on in the game. So I'm going to run through this, and then I'll open it up to you. Let me know what you're most excited about once I get through this. But it's basically a lot of the same game. A lot of this stuff is coming back. Dynasty mode is coming back. There will be online Dynasty mode. I think it's only 32 teams. Crossplay is in the game. We don't know if it's crossplay specifically Dynasty yet, though. So stay tuned on the DNVR Dynasty League. Road to Glory is coming back. You talk about Travis being a gamer. This is what he does. He'll go on Twitch and still stream like Road to Glory from NCAA 14, playing as himself. And he said that's the thing he's most excited about. There's a new mode called Road to the College Football Playoff. Ultimate Team is going to be in the game as well. Some new things called Campus IQ and Wear and Tear System. We've kind of seen these things in the Maddens. You have to manage like the fatigue, the health, the morale of your roster. You're going to have to do that in this game as well. It's got all the pre-snap stuff, all the home field advantages. The routes are going to be shaken. It's going to be loud as hell. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit in the game. Also, Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollock in the game. You like we talked about already with Ralphie being in, all these schools submitted thousands of assets. If you watch that trailer, man, that's college football in a nutshell to me. What that trailer was, all those traditions, everything about it, man. So what got you most excited about this game?
What you just touched on, the nuances of each team, their behind the scenes rituals, if you will, when they're coming out of the tunnel, whether it's Howard's Rock or play like a champion today, jumping up and touching the banner of Michigan, like all that stuff is in the game. And when you talk about the fastest that you can play, one of the things I wonder, Jake, I wonder is the portal going to be in the game?
Oh
You
yeah,
talk,
it's gotta be. It's gotta be.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I think the nuances of each stadium and what those stadiums are known for, the players, the player rankings when those start dropping, and you get to see those. Man, it's so many things to be excited for about this. But the biggest thing I'm excited for is for these young guys to get to see themselves and play themselves, and kids around the nation that are in elementary, middle school, high school get to play as Travis Hunter or Shador, and what that means, for the program, for them, for branding and NIL. Shout out to the O'Bannon boys, UCLA, who sued about 30 years ago and made all this possible.
There you go, man. Hell yeah. With all that, I mean, we know, right? The people in the chat, they know because they've been around and they watched when this game was at its peak about 10 years ago, and how, like, culturally, especially, in the football world, like, these games are massive deals. Like, if Madden were to go away like NCAA did, there'd be just as big as outrage. And, you can say what you want about Madden these days and the quality of it, but that's like a piece of the community, a piece of the football community is having these games, being able to play as your favorite players, build your own teams, recruit. Hopefully the portal is in there, like you said. So it's just awesome to have this game back and actually like be fully back as a college football community. Just being able to enjoy the game we love, man.
And it's going to be good for an off-season purpose. It rolls out mid-July. We go to camp in August. And let me tell you what guys around the nation are going to be doing, particularly Colorado. They're going to go to practice in the morning, work their butts off, go to team meetings in the afternoon, get all those notes, and where they'll be when the day is done. They're going to be in front of that PS5, that Xbox. They're not going to be at the clubs or road tripping. When those games drop, man, it has your undivided attention for months.
I can't wait to hear the stories from you and everyone in the Champions Center about the games on NCAA or EA College Football 25 being played in the locker room. Because I know y'all got a setup in there.
Jake, forget the locker room. By the time this game drops and we get into August, the new Jumbotron to be up at Folsom and functional.
Oh.
It's going to be ready for week 1. So before that, we got to hook it up to that and play on the Jumbotron, man, the new one.
Man, you got to let them know when you get back and, camp starting and all that. We need a day, maybe sometime even before that, this summer, where we can just kind of test it out, see what the old big screen looks like with that game.
Man, can you imagine we pick a couple select players from the team and we have a quick tournament of this college football EA Sports game on the new Jumbotron, DNVR pregame show, and we're playing Travis.
To share. I can't wait, man. It's going to be awesome. What are you looking forward to playing the most? Are you a Dynasty guy? Are you a Road to Glory guy? Or are you even an Ultimate Team guy?
Here's what I do on these sports games. I go look at the real schedule, right? I don't care if it's basketball. I go look at the real schedule and I play the real matchups on the day that they're supposed to be played. So I'm looking forward to taking this Colorado Buffaloes team and playing our real opponents.
I love it. Me too, man. Which team you playing against first?
North Dakota State.
Just right off the bat, then. I love it, brother. Yeah, man, can't wait. I was gonna save this for the end, but we'll talk about it right now, just because of the whole Twitter or the not Twitter, but the cover stuff. Haas Fawcett put this on Twitter yesterday. But Quinn Ewers put a lot of praise onto Travis Hunter. Of course, they were all hanging out. And one of the discussions RK and I have had a lot about this game is, will Travis be a 99 overall? Will anyone be a 99 overall? You can go back, look at it historically from like NCAA 14 to 07. I don't think they had a number 1 overall guy or a 99 overall guy. I think Clowney was in one of those years, but they were few and far between to come by. Quinn Ewers said, I'm not sure if they're going to put anyone at 99 overall, but if they do, I think Travis is the closest to it. His overall ability on offense, defense, and special teams, he can do it all. Do you think Travis will be a 99 overall?
Let me tell you what I think. I don't know if he will be because of the mechanics of the game, and then may want to save some things and let it build up with updates and patches as the season goes on. So it's hard to say if will be when you download the first game, particularly when you look at last season's body of work, coming off the injury and all that kind of stuff. But I agree with you, man. If there's anybody in college football that deserves or should be a 99, there's only one person I can think of across the nation, and that is Travis Hunter, because he is a 99 at defensive back. He is a 99 at receiver. And if you ever see him play special teams like we get to do at practice, he's a 98, 97, potentially 99 there as well. So if there's any guy that should be it, it's definitely him. I just don't know if the game is going to roll off the assembly line when you do those downloads and whatnot, that they're going to start off particular players at 99. Because the beauty of these games is, you're a gamer, Jake, is the updates that you get to do throughout the season. And so I think when this thing gets rolling and going, that if Travis starts off, say, a 96, 97, I bet you come week 3 or 4, he's a 99.
I feel like it's the least they could do. You put him front and center, you got to make him 99, man. He's your guy. All right, Unc. We got some drama to get to, both on and off the field. But first, quick shout out to our friends over at Volo Construction. They came out and hung out with us for the spring game tailgate. It was awesome to meet them. And if you need any work done on your property, home, hit them up. Just like the Buffs on the field, they bring experience, precision, and a winning spirit to restoring your home's exterior to better than it was before. They specialize in all things, roofs, gutters, siding, and paint for your house here on the Front Range. And you know where the Front Range is, right?
I know where the Front Range is now. I'm a Front Range damn expert.
Let's go. I love it. It is hail season, so if you need some work done on your roof or home, hit up our friends over at Volo Construction. They are women-owned and have experience working as insurance adjusters, so who better to understand the process? With Volo Construction by your side, you can rest easy knowing that seasoned professionals are championing your cause. Let them help you rebuild and restore your home with confidence. Don't wait. Reach out to Volo Construction today by scanning that QR code on the screen or calling 303-578-8551. 303-578-8551 and tackle those claims together. Sco Buffs.
Sco Buffs.
And then also our friends at Circa Sportsbook. The summer's rolling along. It's only going to be a few more months until we're back out in Vegas, hanging out at Circa. You're going to be making the trip to Media Day this year, right?
Yeah, man. I was looking at the schedule today for that. July 8th, 9th, and 10th. And of course, the conference is so damn big, it's broken up into, certain days. So looking at arrival times and departure times. But, man, looking forward to Big 12 in Vegas, Media Day, baby.
Cannot wait, man. It's going to be a ball. You'll finally get to check out Circa. That place is amazing. You can get a taste of Circa, though. If you are in Colorado, you can download the Circa Sportsbook app where they handcraft their lines. They're artisanal lines, so you might get a little bit more juice than you would at other books. But Circa's the best. Go hang out there at the resort. Tell them DNVR sent you. If you're in Colorado, download the app at circasports.com. Circa Sports bets can only be made while physically located in the state of Colorado. You must be 21 or older. All rights reserved. Circa Sports Colorado encourages you to gamble responsibly. If you have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER or visit problemgamblingcolorado.org. Unc, once we're done here, I got to tell you something after the show. Media Day is going to be lit, man. Media Day is going to be lit. We've talked to some people.
All right. Let's keep it litty.
All right, Unc, let's get into this, man. So Rashad Amos.
Yeah.
It's the week of the spring game, in the lead up to the spring game. And, the whole stuff with Dylan goes down, Dallin Hayden commits. And then, we're all kind of wondering, all right, how's this running back room going to look? Well, Rashad Amos pops up. He's going to come down and visit. He's considering flipping from Mississippi State to Colorado. Goes on his visit. I'm assuming likes it because he commits. He says he's going to be a Buff. He's all about it. And then today, I wake up, and one of the first things I see on my phone are these reports that now he's going or has already gone on a visit to Ole Miss and there's now predictions for him to flip from Colorado to Ole Miss. Um, there's a lot to get into here. The system is broken. First off, college football. I think we all know that. But what is your reaction when you saw this news?
Well, my initial reaction to it, knowing Coach Prime, the way I know him, is that you do that kind of move, man. God bless you, Ole Miss. I hope your deal is already done and you're there, because this isn't the kind of coach. No matter what the rules may allow or what college football may allow, Coach Prime ain't the kind of guy that you commit to and then continue to, still bounce around on visits and that kind of thing. So that is sometimes, man, you explore opportunities, and while you're exploring them, that other door will close on you. It's almost like, being engaged to be married and say, hey, well, I want to go visit a couple of ex-girlfriends real quick. I'll be right back. That just ain't gonna fly well at the altar. So, I mean, we time will tell. We will see. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is a no-go, the way I know Coach Prime.
I wouldn't be surprised either. And honestly, I don't blame him. Like, you already came down. You were hanging out probably for the most lit week of the offseason for the spring game. You saw it all. You took it all in. You know what it's all about. You committed. You gave the coaches your word. And now you're going back on it. It's just, first off, the system is broken. Like I said, like there's nothing that binds these players once they're in the portal to that commitment. It's all verbal, of course. And more power to them. Like, go chase the bag or find your best situation that fits you, whatever. But I just feel like we need something more, some more rules, some more structure about this portal and this college free agency. I know we at CU have been beneficiaries of the system and all that, but this is just, it's crazy, man. You can't keep track of it all.
Yeah, one thing that Coach Prime has been consistent in that, man. Just because the rules are what they are and you may benefit from them doesn't keep Coach Prime from saying that the rules should be changed. We've had guys who have committed to other places and wanted to come here on a visit and change their mind, and that's the way the rules are set up. But hey, man, in Colorado, one of the rules is you can smoke all you want, but I bet you don't come to a meeting with Coach Prime smelling like you just smoked. So just because the rules may allow something outside the building, don't mean he allows it inside. And I'm telling you, the coach I know, the Deion Sanders I know, a guy that made that kind of commitment, that kind of splash, and then just continue to go on another visit with rumors of him being flipped there, it's probably a leverage thing trying to take place. So I hope that deal works out for him at Ole Miss. But I would not be surprised if that door back to Colorado has already been closed.
Best of luck to Rashard Amos with whatever he decides. Hopefully he ends up where he wants to be and where he's wanted.
Absolutely.
We did get a commitment today, though, Unc. And it's another Hood family member. Trent Hood is committed. I believe he is the cousin to Brandon and Colton. Of course, they are the two brothers who committed over that spring game weekend also. He plays linebacker / running back from your friend and our friend Pastor's area, McDonough, Georgia. Another kid from there, man. We got a pipeline.
Man, you got a true pipeline because Pastor E. Dewey Smith in that metro Atlanta area, he knows ball, he knows athletes, a spiritual advisor and good friend, best friend with Coach Prime. And man, he's on that neck of the woods in that Georgia area. When he sees a guy that may fit what we're trying to do, you can count on Pastor Smith to come through with some names and recommendations. So I think that's about 4, if not 5, that have come from the E. Dewey Smith recruiting tree.
I love it, man. Coach or Pastor Smith out there putting in work on the recruiting trail.
Yeah,
And
he probably have us 10 by now if RK hadn't cussed at him.
that's true. That's true. You still got to repent for that one. But also with that, I mean, obviously, Coach Shador, Shiloh, all related, all family.
Yeah.
This is a family business here at Colorado, and it's something, when you talk about the culture of Colorado, when you're in those doors at the Champion Center, you can feel that, you are family. Coach Prime told us we're family, what is it about that family culture, and why is it so special at Colorado? Because of these guys who are all related and just the feeling of togetherness.
It starts at the top. Coach Prime is that way with his staff. He's that way with the support staff in the building. I mean, look at his relationship with Chef Carl Solomon. It doesn't matter what your position is in the building. If you're in the building, if you touch players, then you have an impact on whether we win a championship or not. And so there has to be a value placed on relationships as you build a championship program. And Coach Prime believes in that, spends time with players, wants his coaches to spend time with players. You will see the position coaches walking the warm up in the stretch lines and touching each player, whether they coach them or not, and sharing something with them or asking something of them from that day. Because it's all about putting relationship capital in the bank. Because when you're down three and you got to score to win the game, it's going to be relationships and trust that you know who's next to you and they're fighting with you. Coach Prime builds that from the top to the bottom and bottom to the top. And so you see players who've played together over years, whether they're family related or not. You see the chemistry they build once they land in Colorado. And it's simply because the head coach makes it a priority. He will sit there in the lunchroom and look way across the room and see a guy on his phone at a table and get up and walk over there and say, hey, tell me about these guys. What do you know about them? And the guy's like, well, not too much. Well, get off your phone and get to know them. Put your phones down, get to know each other, because it's only the strength in our relationship that's going to get us through this season.
I love it, man. You can feel that too. You know, when you walk in the Champions Center, man, I mean, it's palpable. You can really feel that, and you can get the sense of just how together everyone is in the building. They're all, you know, flying under the same banner, all carrying their weight. It's honestly beautiful, and it's what upsets me the most when you see these hit pieces and stuff about Colorado, because it couldn't be further from the truth, as you know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, clickbait is real, and people understand that all the attention that's on this program, the positive news is going to get circulation like the negative news. And there's some people, Jake, who don't have your acumen, who don't have your relationship capital, and they can't cover the positive. So all they have left is what's on the floor on the negative side, and that's what they gravitate toward. What we got to do as positive folks is stop clicking on the stuff.
Yep. We'll get to that in a minute. On Trent Hood, this was a two-way player. He played running back / linebacker. I only have 2022, 2023 high school stats from him his junior year. On offense, ran the ball 53 times for 254 yards. That's 4.8 yards per carry. Also had 5 touchdowns. Defensively, though, 76 total tackles, 10 TFLs. Also had 3 sacks. He also had a pick. So this is a ball player. He was a preferred walk-on to Auburn. This is the second, Brandon Hood. He was a preferred walk-on to Georgia, and now Trent Hood, his cousin, was a preferred walk-on to Auburn. So these guys had offers to go play elsewhere. They were opting to stay home, take the preferred walk-on offer to stay near home, but now they're both coming to Colorado. And from everything I've heard about, the Hood brothers and Trent Hood, the cousin, these guys can play, man.
Yeah, not only can play, Jake, they love to play. Like, you hear Coach Prime touch on that. I need guys that love the game, not just like the game. And these are student athletes that love the game. They love the work. They love the process. They see where the arrow and direction of this program is heading. They want to be a part of it. And so you got guys, turning down, those Power 5 blue blood schools, if you will, that are known to be powerhouses in football, to come be a part of building something special here in Colorado. That in and of itself should tell you a lot about what's going on in this program, what's going on recruitment wise, what's going on direction wise, and not some disgruntled guy, who left the program and what they might be saying, hit piece wise. It's too many good things coming in and going on, for the negative news to be the front runner, because this program is truly headed in the right direction.
It is. So with this running back news from Rashad Amos, let's kind of talk about this running back room. We've talked about this room a lot. We're going to continue to talk about this room a lot. I think even yesterday, Ryan and I are talking, and it's like, obviously the offensive line is going to be the story of the season, really, for this team. But it's almost like the running back room and the running game of this team will determine how high that ceiling is for this team, just in terms of balance. And giving Shedeur something he did not have at all last year, which is a competent running game and just some pressure off of his shoulders. Dallin Hayden comes in. You got Charlie, you got Micah, you got a few other guys, Brandon Hood, who's come in now. How do you think this room all works out, game 1 versus North Dakota State?
I think we're going to be just fine. Coach Flea knows what he's doing. Coach Gary Harrell, who's assistant head coach and running back coach, he knows how to bring the best out of guys and get them ready to play. You look at the impact that Micah, the freshman, has had. Early enrollee, was here this spring. Another guy from that E. Dewey Smith, Pastor Smith recruiting tree is here making noise. So we have some wiggle room there. You got Charlie, who's moved up from walk on to scholarship player. He's going to make an impact. And you have the new names that are going to come in and compete as well. I think you and RK are spot on, man. I wasn't part of that conversation, but I feel like I was there because I was over here pumping my fist down here like, man, you're damn right. The running game is going to be so important for this team. This offensive line, they get going by run blocking, not pass protection. And we weren't able to control the clock in situations where we had the lead because we didn't have a running game. There are certain situations where you would like to have run the ball that we were forced to pass it because we didn't have confidence in the run game, and that would totally shift the balance of the clock and what we were trying to do. You look in those overtime games, you just think that we just got one more first down. Those games don't even go into overtime or the route that they were headed. The run game is going to be a key facet of this. The offensive line is revamped. They love run blocking. Of course, their mantra is don't touch two. But those guys want to see a guy get 200 yards on the ground, man. And you just keep this in mind. If this goes the way we're envisioning it, which I believe it will, you're not going to have a lot of Shedeur Sanders on the field in the fourth quarter. And how do you preserve that lead that you built up to take your QB1 out? You preserve that lead by eating clock and running the ball. We're going to have backs that get 100, 150 yards a game because they're going to be featured heavy and they're going to get the ball and get the opportunity. And I think right now, man, that freshman Micah, when you see his running style, he has been doing the damn thing. And I like what's coming into the room as well.
That's awesome, man. I mean, it can't be like overstated how bad this running attack was last year. One of the worst in the league. And it's just crazy to see, all the CU disrespect on the team and Shedeur about what happened last year. And, he holds onto the ball too long and all this. But it's like he was literally kind of doing this by himself. It was like him and the receivers out there. Like he had no protection. He had no running game. It was really Shedeur go out there and save us almost every single week last fall. And just not having that pressure on his shoulders is going to be so massive. And it's just how the game's meant to be played. If you're playing complementary football, things just work better. Everything works better. The defense gets more rest. The receivers get more rest. The offensive line gets to play forward. They have that mentality of we're pushing, not always going backwards. So it's going to be game changing for this team, man. And I agree with you. Michael Welsh is going to be a major factor for this team. And shout out to Charlie as well. I mean, with him, Charlie, Dallin Hayden, you could say maybe we need more depth, I think. But that top three, I feel really, really good about.
Yeah, I agree with you. You left one log off the fire that I want to throw on. Excellent breakdown of this running back room and why we needed to work. It also keeps the defense honest, man. We were in situations last year where they knew we were going to pass the ball. There's sometimes where people know the play and they still got to stop it. But it works better when they have to guess and they're not necessarily sure what you're going to do in this situation. And there were times where it was 3rd and 2, and we in shotgun empty backfield because we just didn't have a running back room. Now that's going to change where the linebackers are. It's going to change how the safeties move. It's going to do a lot to make this offense more than one dimensional, more success than they had last year. Because even if you don't give it to Micah, even if you don't give it to Charlie or Hood, they don't know that. Last year they knew it. They knew we weren't running the ball.
Love it, man. Just can't wait to see this team in action. Did you know that we are 99 days away from the start of college football season?
I did know that. And to me, college football season doesn't start till we play, so it's about 104 days, and
That's
I
fair.
couldn't be more right.
That's very fair. The week 0 slate is just not good this year either. I don't know if you've seen it. There's like no high profile teams.
Yeah, did a poor job putting that part of the schedule together nationally, man. But loving the fact that we get to debut on that Thursday, which is truly, I guess, a week 1 into week 0 kind of game, and we're the only folks on, man. And for that game to be on ESPN out the gate, North Dakota State is no slouch at all. They're at the top of what they do, and have been consistently at the top of what they do. And now you get to officially have that countdown clock in the Champion Center because you got a kickoff time now, you got a date now, and everything that you do in the building, summer conditioning wise, coming back in August, is all geared toward week 1.
Just kind of with that, we've had game times released over the last couple days and week or so also. Just your reaction to that. I mean, 2 night games to start the year. Night game against Nebraska and Lincoln, night game at home on that Thursday against North Dakota State. Last year we were getting the 10 a.m. kickoffs all the time. Now we're in prime time. Just your thoughts on that.
Well, I love the part about prime time, but I got to be honest. When I saw the times for the kickoffs, I thought about you in arcade. I said, "Here we go, triple overtime. We're not leaving it. We're not leaving the game
No,
till
no,
2 in the morning." I said, "You
no.
know what? With this offensive line, with Shadur and Travis's growth, with the running back room, there won't be no triple overtimes. We'll be able to get out, do the live show post game, and maybe make it to a restaurant for dinner this year versus leaving at 3 in the morning."
We can only hope, brother. We can only hope. All right, let's move on. But first, a word from our friends over at Dialed In Gummies. Alyssa's dialed into Dialed In Gummies. What's the one that you had, Alyssa? What's it called?
I can't remember the name of it. It was the Avs branded one, I think.
Smells like Team Spirit, I think. So they got 2 batches. What's that?
I was saying Nirvana.
Yes, sir. You know. Okay, so Dialed In Gummies. They made over 2,500 unique batches since 2020 and have 2 tribute batch releases to put them on your radar this week, both themed around the playoffs. Batch 1950 is shout out to Rocky. That's an ode to everyone's favorite mountain lion mascot. And then 1942, batch 1942, that smells like Team Spirit. That's a sentimental nod to the Avs. Dialed In Gummies, though, shout out to them. They hooked it up here at the DNVR office. Everyone here is big fans of them.
I know you are.
I am, very much so.
I know you are. Hey, when we have these sponsors, normally y'all put a little stash to the side for when Uncle Neely's in the studio. I'm expected to be dialed in next Friday. I'm back in Boulder next Friday,
All right.
all the way through June. So, I need some dialed in my pockets, man.
I got you, brother. I got you. Get dialed in with Dialed In Gummies, Colorado's premium cannabis gummies, specializing in craft and small batch for the past few years strong. You can head on over to dialedingummies.com or visit a dispensary near you to learn more about these limited releases. Also, shout out to True Fan Travel. They've helped us out and set us up with the trips for Lincoln and Orlando for the Nebraska and UCF game. They helped us out last year for the TCU game. And man, I think about that game and that trip almost every day, I swear. So I can't wait to get back on the road with you guys, hang out with y'all at the tailgates, at the hotel. And shout out to True Fan Travel for making it all work. Deposits are live right now. Head on over to truefantravel.com/trips to reserve your spot for Lincoln or Nebraska. We also just released a Broncos trip, too. They were going to go to New Orleans. That game was scheduled on Thursday, though, so nix that. They're going to Tampa Bay now. So if you want to go to Tampa Bay with the Broncos crew, head on over to truefantravel.com/trips to book your spot today. Be on the lookout for more road trips brought to you by True Fan Travel. Sign-ups for these road trips are live while spots last. All right, Unc.
I love it. Jake, I got to tell you something about these travel plans. We are content heavy. DNVR, the pregame show. We got this marriage made in heaven that Coach Prime is blessed. He loves what we're doing together. Content is king, but sometimes content is like a fine wine. It's better when it ages. And I want everyone out to know when it comes to these road trips that I still have footage from the Arizona and LA trip of Jake that I haven't dropped yet, but it's going to drop before the season starts.
I can't wait. And
This is laughing because she's in it too. The footage from the pancake place in LA. The waitress I was going to hook you up with. No one's seen that yet, Jake. I still have it though.
I was not in my finest form at that point in time. But can't wait, man. It's going to be a blast. Let's get down to it, Unc. And look, we got to talk about it because it happened and it was just out front and center on Twitter. We're not going to mention names or anything, but we've seen a pattern lately, mostly over the past week or so, of former players who leave the program and then get invited on to these YouTube channels or shows, and they're just given free reign to badmouth the program. And honestly, I've got a lot of thoughts about it. Just that I think there's a lot of people trying to clout chase the program and trying to get their way into the program, into this media space. And look, I'm not trying to gatekeep it and say, like, no, you can't do it. But I think there's a way to go about it, and going and getting former players, people who have already left the program, who are obviously going to be maybe slightly upset or not willing to talk about the program in the greatest light. That's just not the way to go about it.
Which I love it, Jake, and I don't have a problem with names because those people were using their names, when they did it. I understand the spirit of what you're saying, keeping it pretty generic there, but you can't have it both ways. You can't run out here and say what you want to say, but the other side doesn't get to respond. And even some of these YouTuber content creators who want to pose as journalists, if you get someone's viewpoint, you have to get the rebuttal from the other side if you're going to cover those kind of stories. We make no mistake about it, or bones about it. Our program is a fan show, so we're dealing with the positive stuff. And when the season comes and Coach Prime, goes for it on 4th and 20, and we don't think he should have, we have publicly disagreed with him before, and he doesn't mind that kind of thing. But when your whole content is driven by finding a disgruntled guy and feeding him a question to say something for clicks and likes, it's really, just using young people and for your own benefit. And I'm not letting the student athlete off the hook. These men are quote unquote young men, but they're grown men. And for guys to leave the program and have things to say that they never said before, particularly when the facts are just totally against it, you get the opportunity to play. You get the opportunity to show who you are. You get the opportunity to get to know Coach Prime, and your talent is evaluated. And the clips I've seen, which may or may not be the ones you're talking about, to have a guy who is literally QB6 on the roster, talk about what Shedeur Sanders is or ain't doing with his money, and I would have had a better shot if his last name wasn't Sanders. That may carry some water if you were QB2 or QB3. I mean, you're QB6, a walk on. And what opportunity did you not get? You got the same reps that everybody else in front of you got, and you didn't make the most of them. And so I don't understand, from the player standpoint, why leave and burn bridges, because the relationship capital you have with your coaches and your former teammates, you never know what that's going to mean 5, 10, 20 years from now. And you burn those bridges for a 5-minute YouTube clip, so you can think you're famous for a second or so. It's immature, it's short sighted. And, the real blame, I think, is on these content creators who bait these players into doing these kind of shows.
I agree. A couple things on what you just said there. I mean, you talk about burning bridges, especially if you're a player. So I interviewed Michael Welsh as high school head coach. And we talked about that interview yesterday on the show, and he was talking about when Micah went on his visit to Colorado last summer, came back and committed to Colorado, and how recruiting kind of shook out after that, because a lot of teams started calling his coach, trying to see, is he going to sign? Is he going to stick with his commitment? Blah, blah, blah. And Micah, I guess, wasn't really, he just wasn't answering their calls. He was locked into Colorado. He was just ready to go. And so Coach Hicks, he told me, he told Micah that, Micah, you got to call these guys, man. You got to tell them thank you for the opportunity, because in this day and age of sports, you never know who's going to be your next team. You never know who's going to be your next coach. Like, you don't want to burn a bridge, but you want to be thankful for the opportunity given to you. And what these people are doing who are leaving this program, who are mostly unhappy, obviously, is they're doing the exact opposite. That, like, your coach is watching, your future coach is watching. You may not know who your future coach is, but guaranteed, if they are interested in you and they want you, or even have remote interest in bringing you into their football program, they're going to do their homework. They're going to go and look. And when they Google your name and these things are the first things that pop up, that's only going to hurt you.
Absolutely, Jake. I don't even know how to put a bow around it. It's perfectly said. And probably more important than a coach is your potential teammates. When you go on visits and you're shopping yourself around, you're hosted by guys who you're going to be playing with, guys they want to count on you. And so you think about future schools, and there are guys on that team, and they're taking around, I'll use his name, they're taking Gavin around. And on one hand, you're out snowboarding, kicking it with Shiloh. And then a month later, you're stabbing his brother in the back, talking about who he doesn't give money to compared to other people. You don't think they're watching that? No one's going to want to play with you. No one's going to want to associate with you. And then 5, 10, 15 years from now, when you could have been in the coaching profession, the player development profession, the media space like this, or anything for that matter, you've dug a hole just for one quick hit, one quick clickbait. And more importantly than all of that, Jake, is that the shit ain't true. Like it would be one thing if you went out there saying these things and there was validity to it, but there is no evidence to support these claims. In fact, there is evidence to the counter because look at the number of people who come in and stay in the things that they have to say about the program. To date, to date, Jay, we've only had one scholarship player that left that was getting significant playing time and contributing, and that was Dylan Edwards. One. You had other people that may have gotten playing time, but they weren't, big time contributors and on scholarship and that kind of thing. Just one. And so if this mantra that's out there from guys who leave disgruntled were true, you would have 30 people leaving that were starters and scholarships and contributors. It just doesn't hold water, man. I hate to see a young person make that kind of decision where they just, go for the right now and put false narratives out. But the fact of the matter is, this team has who it needs. We know who's here. We know who's going to be here, and we're ready to get ready for North Dakota State and take Miss Peggy to a bowl game. They can sit up on the sub tier YouTube channels and talk all the crap they want to. We're moving that way.
I love it, man. Last thing I'll say about it, and it's something you kind of touched on, is I think a lot of the people, and it's not even just the YouTube creators, but like the folks that write these articles, these hit pieces and stuff, that have been writing these for the last year or so, I don't think they truly understand, what they're doing when they interview some of these players and they put them right in the crosshair, because we know how passionate this fan base is, and we know how they're going to defend the players and the coaches, especially when people are talking sideways out your mouth. So you look at that Athletic article, the guy goes and talks to the safety at Missouri State or whatever, and then that kid is just getting blasted on social media. Like, did you even think that through, that you just set this kid up to be put in a spotlight that he didn't ask for, two, isn't prepared for, and now it's going to affect his image, at least in the short term, hopefully not long term, because of what you did, just trying to get a few clicks.
And that's all it's about. I think they know exactly what they're doing. I think they just don't give a damn about the player. You know, Once upon a time, I was 20, 21, 22, and I thought I knew it all. And as I sit here right now at 52, 53, I realize how damn dumb I was at that age. You don't know what you don't know. And thankfully, I was surrounded by a cadre of older adults who had my best interest at heart and not using me. And it's one of the things that we work with these players, here in this space, that, hey, everybody ain't your friend. Just because somebody has a platform and want to interview you doesn't mean you have to do the interview. They are not utilizing you, they are using you. And they're going to say and do things that get their clicks up because they're not inside and they don't have the access and they don't have the other stories. So what they go after is the clickbait sensationalism. And so these newspaper writers around the country, I got to find something on Coach Prime. I got to dog him out, and I got to go after him. And what better way to do it than find this obscure player that left there? Let me talk to him for 3 hours to get just that one quote. And you don't see that taking place with any other program. Saw a clip the other day, Dabo Swinney at Clemson, who broke down the portal and said, hey, it just comes down to this. The guys in the portal can't help us. And he was talking about the guys in there from other schools as well as the guys that were leaving his program. What if Coach Prime had said that? Do you know the firestorm it would be? It's like, so everything here is under scrutiny because of this dynamic head coach we have. And some of these clickbaits out there, content creators, in the name of fair and balanced journalism, they find some kid to just say something. They make that the title and get the clicks. And then you never see a consistent post from them again. It's just a short-lived story because they're doing the negative thing and not the long run for the positive and being fair about it.
Absolutely, man. It's just a shame. And, it's like any job, right? You can go in, and if you leave, maybe not on the best terms, there's always going to be people who are willing to say, negative things. You can always find the negative stuff.
Absolutely.
It's just the low-hanging fruit, though.
And I've seen, in the chat scrolling by, some people defending it, saying, "Oh, well, those questions were from the audience." I do a live show. I do during the season 2 to 3 live shows with DNVR in our partnership. There are thousands of questions. You're picking that one, so you still can't just put it on the audience. I don't care how many people ask something asinine. That doesn't mean I have to pass it on to the player when I have the player's best interest at heart. The fact of the matter is, these people do not have the player's best interest at heart. They do not have the program's best interest in heart. What they have in heart is their clicks and their bottom line, and they're using these former players, damaging them to some degree beyond repair in their future playing life, which is just around the corner. But they don't care about that. I want to ask him this because I want to spread this and clip it and show it that he said this about Shador or he said this about Coach Prime. Forget the damage that it does to him. It's unfair, it's irresponsible, and it's show ain't journalism.
Damn, hell no, it's not. The word I'd use is disingenuous. That's the word that comes to mind when this type of stuff happens. It's a shame. It's not going to stop happening. It's probably going to happen again.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah.
It's going to get worse.
So stay locked in, and also, I don't know, just kind of see through the bullshit, man. Like, to the fan base and everyone out there, like, if you call it out and you're on it, you know, people will take note, and hopefully it causes some change, and we can finally weed out some of these people who are in this thing for themselves. Not even talking about the players, but I'm just talking about the creators and those out there writing all these things, because it's obvious when some people have an agenda and they're just trying to promote their personal brand rather than actually do some journalism, cover a team, or anything assorted to that.
Well said.
All right, brother. Let's get to questions.
Questions!
What do we got today? Packer Nation asks, is Trent Hood on scholarship or PWO? He's a preferred walk-on, I believe. Around this time of year, usually those are the guys who commit. They're being brought in to fill out the roster, and I know scholarships are around that mark we were at this time last year, and you could talk about this, Neely, also if you want, because Coach Prime likes to save scholarships, and I think we're around 79, 80 scholarships, and he saved about 5 of them last year too. So that's about the mark we're at. If we have 6 or 7 left, I don't think we're going to get 6 or 7 more players.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I don't know the exact number, but I can speak to the philosophy. The philosophy is not to exhaust all of them, to keep some in your back pocket. Imagine salary cap in the NFL. You never know when someone's going to transfer or come in, or you're going to land, something, or some guy's going to move up like Charlie did. So you want to keep 1 or 2 in your back pocket, and 1 or 2 is really 3, 4, or 5. So I think we got some room here, particularly as, people who went in the portal who are perhaps on scholarships, if they land somewhere else on scholarship, you get that one back. And so your math kind of goes back in your favor. So guys who are preferred walk-ons now, that certainly can change for them.
What do we got next? Buff News Weekly asks, Neely, who are you going to use in NCAA the first game since NDSU is not in the game, no FCS games? You just going straight to Nebraska then?
Yeah, I guess I just beat Nebraska 2 weeks in a row.
Let's go. The Buffs have been doing it for the last about 10 years. So
now we get to do it in their place. And I'm going to tell you, one of my road traditions for people I really have disdain for, I love to go to their restroom and not flush when I leave. That's just my way of doing that.
Leave them a present, huh?
You can expect an awesome deuce to be left in Nebraska.
Oh, my gosh. Well, can't wait to hear the story once you go and achieve that goal, brother.
Oh, you've been the star right next to me, man. Stop hiding.
Oh, no. I'll let y'all handle that by yourself. Warren G says, did y'all see where NCAA said Ralphie was the hardest mascot to create? It took them a month. I love that. Wow. I mean, they put some effort in.
Yeah, detail. I love that, too. I should have put a GoPro on Ralphie and got some Ralphie cam footage.
I was going to say, do you think we have the Ralphie sandwich in a celebration or something on the side? You seeing like a spectator eating it or something?
All I know is this. When it comes to the Ralphie sandwich from here on out, I got to get 2. One is for now and one is for 6 days later.
Oh, man.
Like the dry-aged Ralphie.
You're playing with fire, Unc. That 6-day-old Ralphie's going to bite back one day.
One day.
After the game says, did Rashad Amos decide to visit Ole Miss because Trent Hood, linebacker / running back, committed today? No. In fact, the report I think I saw first said that he already visited Ole Miss. This already happened. The news is just coming out that he's probably going to flip. He's probably going to predict.
Yeah, and this is not me talking about that particular situation because I have not spoken with Rashad Amos. I'm talking about football as we know it, college football as we know it, and you're talking about some of the things that need to change over time with commitments and extended visits. With NIL and collectors in play now, man, the leverage that the student athlete has, and that's something I'm not trying to talk them out of or take away from. It's just I think when you make that final commit, you're there, you should be there. Having said that, you know, whatever Ole Miss is promising goes up because he's coming from Colorado, or and you just see that kind of leverage thing happen all the time. And I just hope for the young guy that he's making the proper decision, because again, the Coach Prime I know, that door to come back is it's either closed or rapidly closing, because we got to know who we have, and we want what we have, and that's what we're going to war with. And people who are still out there sticking their toes in other water and second guessing it, there's somebody we don't need.
For sure. Do you know when report day is, when the team's coming back?
Yeah, we have our first practice. I'm not looking at a calendar, but it's I guess it's that Wednesday after Memorial Day. So everybody will be back in Memorial Day weekend. It'll be a team meeting, likely that Sunday off on Memorial Day, or maybe like a team cookout or something Memorial Day, and then that Tuesday will be when everyone's going to work, and then that Thursday, again, I'm not looking at the dates, but that Thursday after Memorial Day will be when the new guys come in for their testing. And so that Friday on out is when you have the bulk of everybody here. You remember this time last year, everybody was saying, "Where's such and so? I don't see them in the videos." Well, they're
Yes.
not here yet.
Yeah.
The returners do their thing first, and then the new guys merge in.
Saw a bunch of them hanging out with Shador in Dallas too. A bunch of those wide receivers, Will Shepard, Cordell Russell. So look, like, it's time to lock in, man. I know it's May,
Yeah.
but it's time to lock in for the season, for the fall. And so
And that's
Rashad,
one thing that we didn't touch on, at least in depth, is that the receivers and Shador have been working out together. Like, they haven't been wasting time just because they're out of school and we're out of practice right now. They have been getting their reps and routes in, and I think it's been featured on Well Off Media if you want to deep dive in that. But he has his receiver core there, and they've been working out this week, and they're going to come back with some chemistry. Shador has always done that. He did it, at Jackson State with his receiver core, and did it last year as well. So they're working. When we get back, you have a couple of workouts, team lifts, and team runs, and then you get to start some player-led practices as well. So, man, they're moving and grooving. It's truly football time.
I love it, man. We talked about that when that kind of came out earlier in the week. And we compared it to Peyton Manning, because that's what he used to do all the time in the offseason. Before he even came to Denver, he'd always go down to Duke with David Cutcliffe, bring all his receivers in there and just workshop it, man. Work it out, work out the timing, work out the camaraderie. Brady did that stuff too. So it's just awesome to see Shador already trying to follow in those footsteps and knowing what it takes really to be ready for the fall.
Well, if you want to win more than 4 games this year, which we do, you got to do more work than you did last year. And that work doesn't start in August. That work starts in the true off season, which is now. So these guys understand that. They understand they got to make sacrifices, have skin in the game. When you talk about the new modern era of college football, there are only about maybe 8 weeks in the year that you're off anyway, and those aren't even consecutive. And so when they get back here after Memorial Day, you run through May and June with strength and conditioning. You come back in August for fall camp. Your summer is football time now.
Yep, definitely. All right, a few more to get through. Just My Opinion says, Unc, who's the player to look at this summer? Who's one guy you think is going to have a big summer?
I want to really watch. I'm gonna go with two rooms. I really want to watch the receivers in the running back room. Running backs, I just want to see who that other guy or the new guys is going to be, and I'm really looking forward to watching Shepard work at receiver, man. Some of the other guys I've already got to put the eyeball on, but haven't had the opportunity to spend a lot of time around him. So looking forward to seeing his work and what he does, and how it's going to mesh in.
Love it. Frederick asks, how excited are you about this wide receiver room? I mean, look, man, it's going to be one of the best in the country. I'm through the roof excited.
Absolutely. There is no roof. It's just going up and up. And I think people who have this receiver room in the top 5 in the country are off by 4. I really think this is going to prove to be the number 1 wide receiver room in the country. The stats are going to bear it out. The individual talent is going to bear it out. Shador is going to have a little more time than he had in the past. He's not going to lead the nation to being sacked again. This wide receiver room is going to be off the charts, and there are going to be guys that you see playing on Saturdays and Thursdays this year that'll be playing on Sundays next year, and they're going to come from Colorado.
Cannot wait. A couple more to get through. Jamal Powell asks, when are RK and Jake coming to Jackson? You could answer this, but I think we looked at the schedule and realized CU has a bye during Jackson State homecoming.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That is the target. That's the plan. Let me tell you this, Jake. Like I told you guys on the air and told you personally off the air, I'm coming. Like the other part is on y'all. Matter of fact, I think it's me and Alyssa. We guaranteed. We don't know what you and Jake, you and RK gonna do, but we're going. We get a couple of bye weeks in the Big 12, get two of them, and one of them does fall on Jackson State's homecoming. And so, hey man, let's take that trip. Come on down.
I can't wait. Let's make it happen. Paul asks, my sons and me are coming from Georgia for the UCF game. How can we get tailgate tickets? Go to thednvr.com/events. Scroll down to Friday, September 27th, and click on that road trip package. This is just deposits for the road trip. You can get tailgate and game ticket in that package also. We will put out a link more closer to game time that is purely just the tailgate. If you have already all that stuff taken care of, if you're already figured out your hotel, your game ticket situation, all that, and you just want to come to the tailgate, we'll have a link closer to the end of September, probably in the lead up the week of the UCF game.
Love it. Jake is so thorough.
Thanks, bro. I try. What did that say? I am monumental. I see a bunch of UDFAs getting signed. Any news on Zay? Zay is at Arizona Cardinals minicamp. I think Derek McClendon's with the Chargers. Rod Ward was with the Commanders.
I thought McClendon was with the Panthers.
Oh, yeah, you're right. He's with the Panthers. I think it's Jordan Dominic with the Chargers, actually.
That's right. That's correct.
I can't remember who else, but we've got buffs in minicamps right now, so they're working.
And I'll tell you this, man. Everybody wants to get their name called on draft day. I understand that. But when you start getting toward that fifth and sixth round, you almost don't want your name called at that point because you don't know why they're bringing you in. When you go the undrafted free agent route, you get to pick where the best fit is for you. You get to look at the other contracts at your position, the age of those players at your position, and you kind of in a position kind of cherry pick and be at a better situation for you than if you got drafted somewhere just to be a tackling dummy for camp. So, don't slight these guys because they're undrafted free agents. They're going to stick on some of these rosters and they're going to make noise, man. It's about getting there. It doesn't mean you have to have your name called in the first two rounds. Get there.
Paisley says Jordan's with the Steelers. Someone's with the Chargers, though. I know I saw someone with the Chargers. I can't remember who it is. Your reaction, though, to Zay going undrafted, I mean, we all knew he was the best draft prospect we had. Unfortunately, that pre-draft process just not able to work it out with the injury. He goes undrafted.
Yeah. I think that's all it was to it. I think that the injury and not being able to participate fully in the combine, just left it all up to game footage. I think what he showed at his pro day, was enough to get him there. And more importantly than anything, man, the Arizona Cardinals got a damn steal because they got a pro, and he's going to make that team. And if he doesn't make that one, he's going to make another one because his hands, his speed, the way he approaches the game, and what he does in the locker room and on and off the field. Zay Weaver is a pro, man. He came to Colorado to go to the NFL, and he's there.
I agree. We've yet to see the best out of Zay Weaver's football career, and excited to see if he sticks in Arizona or where he lands after that, because I know he's going to be playing some NFL ball here in the near future.
Absolutely.
That's it. Unk, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for coming on. It's been a minute. We'll have to make it happen again next week, too. You said you're back Friday?
Yeah, get back Friday, man, and be there, for another 3, maybe even 4 weeks. So we got plenty of time to be in person as we go through the mechanics of, this first team meeting, them starting the workouts together, then the new guys coming in for their testing. So it'll be plenty to talk about as far as guys meeting that eyeball test. And then we're going to really know who's here, man. And then it's time to go to work and compete for these positions. There are no sacred cows. Everybody's got a spot to earn. And I can't wait to see them out there grinding, getting in shape for fall camp.
Can't wait, man. Looking forward to having you back out here. We've talked about some cool and exciting things that we're going to do in Boulder this summer. So really looking forward to that, man. We'll talk to you next week, bro. Thank you so much for coming on.
Let's do it.
There it is. Let's go Buffs, guys. We'll see you next week.
We all silly like the mayor.